Do you hate the thought of working past 55 or 60? Do you hate not being able to live the life you deserve today? Do you hate not knowing what your financial future looks like? It's time to stop doing what you hate. Here's your host, Mr. Harold Green.
Hello, everybody. This is Harold Green of Bright Tree Wealth Management, and it is time to stop doing what you hate. I hope you are having a fantastic day today, and that life is going really well for you. And I'm looking forward to sharing today's show. There's a lot of things in it that there's a lot of things I want to say, but I'm just not sure how much of it is going to come out. But I'm going to do the best I can with it because it's just something that's been on my mind for a while. And my goal is to help people get out of the 97% into the 3%. And that's my mission. But I feel that there's a way that this mission needs to be carried out. And some people may agree with me on the things that I say. Some people may not agree with me about the things that I say. But the goal is to take a person, take a family, just help them build in the right way, to help them build on the right foundation. And I just want to share with you a little bit about my week. And it's interesting because this past election season, it taught me a lot. And I learned a lot more than any other election that I've been alive to see. And it's about people. And I don't know how you all voted, and I really don't want to get into it. But some people are extremely happy. Some people are extremely sad. They're extremely upset. They're extremely fearful about what they think may happen and so on and so forth. And so, if you're out there and you're fearful and you're sad and you're angry, you're upset, I pray for you to find some peace, some comfort to figure out, what it is that you need to do to move forward. An election shouldn't dictate how you live and what you do. I believe that you have power. I believe that you have control. And I believe that you don't have to give up control of your life to somebody that you may or may not agree with. I think that the power is yours, and you need to take back your power. You need to take back control. And my question is this, what if there's a way that you could live life so that an election, isn't necessary for you to enjoy all that life has to offer? What if you could control how things go in your life and tune everything else out? What if you could live life with no regrets at all? And the title of my show today is Control Your Destiny. So are you ready? 1, 2, 3, let's get it. Now, over the past few days, I kind of been contemplating how I could assist more people from the 97% to the 3%. And the image I got was like if I was standing at the front of a plane at the door, helping people off, that, just kind of helping people from the plane to the jetway, or, just helping people through a door. And that's what I had in my mind. And a long time ago, years and years ago, I think I was around 22 years old, I had learned something called spiritual warfare. And I had just became a Christian, and I had met this great mentor, and, everybody thought it was crazy, right? I met him at work, and everybody just thought it was crazy. And at first I thought it was crazy too, because he would say some stupid stuff, like stuff I had never heard of, right? But as I began to spend time with him, and he began to teach me things in the Bible, and began to show me things, and began to show me how to fight spiritually for the things that were out of my natural control, it was pretty crazy. And there's a lot of things people think that are out of their control. In the natural sense, true, but in the spiritual sense, not so much. You have the power there if you would simply plug in and tap into it. I know this is a financial show, but I think that having a lot of money or building wealth without the proper foundation is kind of dangerous. And so I just really want to walk you through this, and hopefully this is a blessing to you. No, I don't have a church, and I'm not saying that you have to become a Christian because I have an organization that I want you to give money to. That's not what this is about. And I want to talk about taking control of your destiny, how you can fight the good fight without having to physically fight things all the time. I'll give you an example. It's like when you get hired in a company and you get sent to a department where the boss just absolutely hates your guts. And I had a situation that happened to me one time when I was working in a company, and the boss and we got along okay, but a lot of people in the department didn't like the boss. And I can't tell you what the reason was, but there was an issue where they didn't like the person. I think it was twofold. And they would always accuse me of like kissing butt and why do you like this stupid boss and so on and so forth. And one of the things I learned was a scripture in the Bible that says, when you do your work as unto the Lord, because he sees everything that you do. And so when I was 22, and I got this job when I was like 23, I learned that spiritual warfare from that other mentor I had. And I figured out this. I could have tapped into that and said, you know what? Yeah, this boss is racist or whatever, blah, 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 blah. But I didn't do that. I came in extra early. I worked extra late, even though I didn't have to. I got a pay raise 2 weeks after being there, and I got promoted to a position that paid me double my salary after being there for like 3 months. This is insane. But here's what you can do. One or two things. If you got that crazy boss and they just don't like you, one or two things you can do. You can pray for God to intervene and like soften their heart to show you mad favor while you work as hard as you can to like show them how valuable you are to that company. Or you can underperform, make excuses, badmouth them to your coworkers, whatever. And one of the things I see in the 97% is that they always think that they have like little to no control over how things go in their own lives. They think somebody else who's like more powerful than them controls the world and they're just pawns in it. You know, the rich and powerful rule everything and I have no control. I hate rich people. Why I heard a lot of that stuff and it's just extremely crazy because they think they have no control. Or like how I used to be, they think that, God controls everything and God is sovereign, and we're just at his mercy, his will and his beck and call. And, if he ever wants us to have money, we'll have money. And if he doesn't want us to have money, we won't have money. All those things. The bottom line is this: when you get in your car, there's nobody sitting there beside you for the most part telling you where to go. Before you get in that car where you want to go. You don't start the engine and say, I'll just see where this road takes me. You start your engine with a destination in mind. This is called intentionality. And that's the first step to controlling your own destiny financially, physically, emotionally, spiritually. You must be intentional. And many people lack intentionality. They just lack it. It's not important to them. And if this is the case with driving and everything else in life, why, when it comes to money, it's a major issue for a lot of people. And I've heard people say, well, the love of money is the root of all evil. Well, not the love of money, but the root of money is the root of all evil. They forget to say the love of money. It's that emotional tie. That's the root of evil. It's emotional ties and it causes evil things. And that's an issue for a lot of people. And so this morning, as I prayed and I studied my Bible, here's what came to me. Again, if you try to build wealth without having the proper foundation, it's going to lead to some real problems. It's like building a multi-million-dollar house with a bad foundation. It looks good on the outside until something comes along and tears it down like a storm or just something like an affair, an addiction, or some kind of moral conflict that causes you to make some very bad decisions that's going to lead to total ruin. And I'm sharing this with you folks because having a lot of money with no real direction or sense of purpose is pretty dangerous. It's either money with a mission or money without a mission. And my motto was money with a mission. I like to have money with a purpose because without it, it's dangerous. And I wasn't sure I was going to share this with you folks, but because I don't want to sound like I'm bragging or saying something stupid that, that's being boastful and different things like that. And when you become financially successful, you're going to be faced with a lot of temptations. And I have likes and things that I desire, but I'm always having to put those temptations down. I'm having to put them down because it's not something that's important to the mission that I'm on right now. And so we were going to lunch the other day, my wife and I, and went to this Chinese restaurant that, we like it. We were introduced to it by some friends and we like it. And it's right across from the Ferrari dealership. Come on, man. Like, one of the things I always say is when you focus on something, what you focus on, you tend to get. Like, it's powerful. Like what you set your mind to, the mind is a very powerful thing. So driving out of the restaurant parking lot, I took a left turn because it's like catty corner or whatever, diagonal to the restaurant. And I was like, oh, let me just pull up in here to the Ferrari dealership. Okay, yeah, I did. I pulled up in there and, we just drove through the lot. They got Bentleys, Ferraris, Maseratis. Like, I was like, whoa, this is cool. Because I research a lot on cars and performance and power, just all the technology, different things like that. And she's like, you plan on getting one of these? And I said, no, not right now. I just want to just drive through here and see what they got on the lot. So they had the 4.5, I think the 4.5 A8s and I think I saw an 812. I really want an 812. But an 812 was about $599,000. It's an expensive car. And I was kind of like, okay, what if I bought this car? What would it mean to me? And it would be a lot of fun, but it would take away from my everyday mission. I would be so focused on cleaning the car, driving it, listening to the engine. Like, you probably wouldn't be able to pull me out that doggone thing. I'd probably sleep in it, eat in it, just stupid stuff. And sometimes these temptations can overcome you. They can overwhelm you because, again, I don't build wealth with buying cars and buying houses in mind. I build wealth for another purpose that I'll share with you folks at some later date. But to me, it's a righteous cause. So I want to share with you how I've overcome some things in my life to get to where I am today. And years ago in my life, I felt like I had no real say in how my life went. I felt like I was damned. So therefore I acted damned and I made damned decisions. And it was just like one thing after the other. You ever felt like you get on this hamster wheel and it's just like, there's nothing on there but bad things. And that's how I felt until one day after, giving my life to God, I was standing in the park talking to a man about my past. And during that time, I've been praying and fasting and trying to learn as much as I could about business life and just God things in general. And I say this because spiritual warfare is about prayer. It's about, getting your body under control. Fasting is about separating yourself out from things. I would fast from food. I would fast from water. I think one time I fasted for like 7 days straight with no food or water. Like I was trying to dial myself in to God to like learn as much about life and where I needed to go as I possibly could. And it was crazy. I would wake up at 4:30 every day almost and drive to a place and just like a park by the ocean. I would just read my Bible and pray there until 6:30 or 7. And then I would go to work. And I did this pretty much Monday through Friday for about a year or more. I think it could have been like 3 or 4 years I was doing this. And it just became part of my practice of my faith and my journey. And this is how I learned to control my destiny. I knew that if I just worked harder, learn what God showed me to learn, he would take me places. And this waking up early and praying is still a large part of my life. I know this is a financial show, but what I'm sharing with you is I'm sharing with you principles that will not only help you get wealth, attract wealth, but then also keep the wealth so that you know what to do with it when you get it. I'm not a pastor and I don't have a church. My mission is to help people build wealth on the right foundation. And here's some things that you can do to control your destiny. And this is important because I want to talk to you about the foundation first. And my foundation, of course, is the Bible. I know some of you listening to the show, you may not be a Christian. You may have already tuned me out. And, that's your choice because, again, you control your own destiny, not me. But those are you who are still listening and you're tuned in. I want to share with you what my foundation is. Okay. This is very important. And the Bible always talks about pray for your leaders because you don't know what you're going to get. You don't know if you're going to get a tyrant, you're going to get an idiot, you don't know what you're going to get. And so you pray. And then in that praying, God shows you how you can hide yourself when you see things coming, or you can participate. I mean, he gives you wisdom. And that's why I believe that Proverbs is one of the best books in the Bible to read. And I'm going to read to you Proverbs 10:4, because this is all about controlling your destiny. Okay. He becomes poor who works with a slack and idle hand, but the hand of the diligent makes rich. Being lazy can cause you to give control of your destiny to others. Not being diligent can cause you to give control of your destiny to others. Not getting ahead of things can cause you to give control to others and put you in bad predicaments. Procrastination can also cause you to give control over to somebody else, right? But I didn't know, I didn't know. Nobody told me, and I wasn't aware of this, and on and on and on. And I'm going to share with you something, how to overcome, like, I didn't know this, or nobody told me this kind of thing. I'm going to share something with you. Proverbs 10:5, he who gathers in summer is a wise son, but he who sleeps in harvest is a son who causes shame. And I get this a lot from people. They always say, Harold, you're a one-man shop. You're just a one-man shop. And if you go back to that Bible story about David and Goliath, David he was a teenager, and he was a sheep herder, and he said, I fought the lion, I fought the bear, and took them all out. Because David, his secret weapon was God's power. And although I'm a one-man shop, before I got into this investment thing, I told God, I said, look, investment world is tough, because there's a lot of things that can jump up and bite you in the butt. And I need wisdom. I need help. I need guidance. Now, I don't always hear God perfectly. Sometimes I make trades that I get sideswiped. A DOJ investigation comes out and boom, now your stock is down 60%. Stuff like that happens. But the only thing you can do is pray and say, okay, boom, I see this. Now what's next? I see this. Now what's next? What's my next move? How do I make these losses up in this position? Do I take the loss now? Do I rotate the position? And then I pray and I ask and I seek and I research. I pray the spiritual. The natural is the research. Faith without works is dead. I can't just have faith that this thing is going to work out. I need to do something about it. And a lot of times, fear paralyzes people. It'll paralyze you, and it'll cause you to give control over to somebody else. And I have yet had a client tell me that, Harold, I'm going to hire you because I'm scared of managing my money. I don't want to lose it. I've never had anybody say that. They've always hired me to get them to a specific place, and they just don't know how to get there. They don't give me the money because they're afraid. But if you do give somebody money because you're afraid, it's never going to end well. It's not going to end well. You're going to come up short somewhere, and I may talk about that a little bit later. Another thing I see people choosing comfort over efficiency in their finances, and that can also cause you to give control over to others. And I've heard tons of stories about people taking the path of least resistance because the path is paved, it's well lit, the view is good, I don't get sweaty, there's no animals or anything that can get me on this path. It's just a nice stroll. And a lot of times at the end of that path that you're on, it pretty much leads to nowhere. It's a comfortable path, but it's not going to get you to where you want to be. And one of the things I see people willing to give up control over their time for some kind of comfort. Like some people sit in Costco line and buy gas. I'm not against this. I'm just saying, if you look at your time, what your time is worth per hour, say you're a salesperson or whatnot, and based on commissions and the amount of time and effort you put into it, you make $200,000 a year, right? But if you can be in the store selling versus sitting in the line at Costco buying gas, you could have made one more commission, two more commissions or whatnot. But if your mindset is, I need to save a couple of bucks on gas, you could be losing out to your team members who are sitting in there getting the people coming in the door. I mean, just different things like that. And I don't know, I've learned a long time ago to overcome that kind of stuff and not kind of give up control of my time just because of a couple $100 more or whatnot. Like I always fly first class. I always choose a certain airline. I won't choose economy because I feel comfortable not paying the money for first class. I feel good knowing that I'm not wasting money on first class. I hear people say stuff like that all the time, and to each his own. But when you get to a certain level, you understand what you should be doing with that time. I sit in the first class. I enjoy my time there. I use it to either read, catch up on stuff, listen to shows, podcast shows, and then get ideas so that when I get off the plane, I'm not getting off the plane tired or, mad because the guy next to me weighs 500 pounds or some kid is kicking my seat or just something like that, just to save a few $100 or whatever, or $1,000 or whatever it might be. I know that if I just go make a couple more trades or even one trade, we can do that. I can cover the cost without a problem. It's just mindset. So I refuse to give up control of my destiny over money or anything like that. And so I think the time could be spent researching something new or whatever it might be. Another thing I find that people give up control because they procrastinate. And one of the things you can do is you can go do these procrastination surveys online and see how you come out. But years ago, I took a procrastination survey and I didn't do too well. And I learned a lot about why I always felt out of control. I always felt like, man, things are not going in my favor. It was two things, and I'll be very honest with you. Number one, I lack knowledge. I just didn't know what I didn't know. People perish and suffer for lack of knowledge. And number two, I lack wisdom. Not only did I not have knowledge, I didn't have wisdom to apply the little bit of knowledge that I had. I was in a bad spot. So I went on a mad journey to learn as much about my field in financial planning and investments. I studied Proverbs every day and began using my diligence, which led to more wisdom, which led to more knowledge. And it was just like boom, boom, boom. It's like picking up gold bars. I was shown a path and it was just like boom, boom, boom. And this is what allowed me to create the Rapid Retire Financial Planning process. God showed me this in a hotel where I had went to Boston to visit my son, and we were going to watch the fireworks, but it was like -5 or something outside. You can get frostbite. So I woke up early, again, getting up early, went downstairs, got my coffee, sat down in the lobby of the hotel. I forgot what hotel it was, but it was pretty cool. Sat down, was just sitting there drinking my coffee, and on a white piece of paper, like a napkin, I wrote out the Rapid Retire Financial Planning process on a napkin. Income generation, cash flow management, cash reserve systems are the words that came to me, and I expounded on those. This is what led me to start my investment firm with about $5 million and then grow it to almost $100 million in 7 years. But how did I really get there? This is important. I think what I'm doing in this firm for our clients is a very special thing. Those who are on board with me, it's very special. I think we're doing some amazing things. Proverbs 10:7 says, "He who heeds instruction and correction is not only himself in the way of life, but also is a way of life for others. And he who neglects or refuses reproof not only goes astray, but causes him to err and is a path toward ruin for others." And when I sit down at this desk, I'm humbled, I'm grateful, and I remind myself that I am a way of life for others. When I'm reviewing portfolios, which I'm about to do in a little bit, again, I'm a way for them to pay for college, a way for them to enjoy vacations without worrying about it, a way for them to retire comfortably, a way for them to give graciously and excitingly to charity, a way for them to bless their friends and family, a way for them to afford the best health care, a way for them to live in a home that they can upgrade and repair when they need it. I'm sitting here thinking about one particular client in mind. She wants to pay off her house and she wants to remodel everything in the house that needs work. She's about, 2-3 years away from retirement. And I have her number in mind that she needs for retirement. It's 2 point something million. That's her number. Because she's single. She needs about 2.3 million. And we're almost there. We're right there at it, almost. So I'm thinking, okay, we get the 2.3 for the retirement, but we need to pay off the house. We need to upgrade the house. And that just kind of sticks in my mind when I'm reviewing this person's portfolios. I trade with intentionality based on my client's situation. But I can also be a bad way if I'm not careful. This is why when I sit down, I can't have garbage in my heart. I can't have garbage in my mind. I can't be sitting here being mad about who won or lost the election. Or I can't be sitting here happy about who won or lost the election. that kind of stuff, it's for those who give up control. That's what that is, right? I'm not saying you shouldn't vote. I'm just saying you shouldn't give up control over your life because you voted. Okay. And this is why it's important to have the right people on your team. Financial professionals, we're human, but if that person hasn't overcome the same things that you struggle with, then they don't deserve to be managing your financial situation, especially if you're trying to get out of the 97%. And many financial professionals, sadly enough, are the reason why a lot of people are still in the 97%. And I don't know, it's hard. And years ago, and I wasn't sure I was going to share this with you, but I think I needed to say it because you're in control of your destiny, but a lot of people don't really know how serious it is. And I had some clients years ago, they gave into their emotions and they left my firm. And they were left millions of dollars, and I made them a lot of what they had. And they called me one day and said, "Hey, we're going to go in a different direction. We don't like where you're driving us to, and we don't like how you're driving there." And I'm sitting here thinking like, I'm doing everything that they've asked. I don't know what's changed. And then they told me somebody referred them over to this other person that, supposedly they knew a lot more about this, that, and the other than I did. And I don't remember what it was. I don't know if it was about Social Security or something crazy or whatever it was. And I don't know if they had went to a Social Security seminar or some kind of annuity seminar or whatever it was. But I knew that they were in control of their own destiny. I knew that it was their money. They could do whatever they wanted to do with it. I was grateful for the opportunity to have worked with them, but also at the same time, I was devastated. I was crushed. And I think I might have even cried about it. But I know what I did do. I prayed about it. And this is what I came to the conclusion of. I had spent so much time, as I do for all of my clients, building the portfolios, adjusting it, giving it everything I had. And when I asked if I had done anything wrong, they said no. They just felt more comfortable with the other person because they liked them, I guess. Honestly, the truth is it doesn't matter anymore because whoever they chose apparently was a bad choice based on what I found out later. This person altered the trajectory of their financial plan and they just drove it into a ditch. They took all these millions of bucks, gave it to this person, and they ruined it. And I felt bad for them, but these are some of the things that I think that are out of my control. But here's how I handle it because I don't want to have any regrets. I don't want to be looking over my shoulder all the time. Now, if a client leaves, I want to make sure I did everything I could in my power to prosper them, grow their wealth. And at that point, again, the choice is simply theirs. It's their destiny. And if you feel your financial future is out of control or the destination that you think you're headed to, it doesn't look too hot, you can take action. All right. You don't have to keep procrastinating and putting up with working with the wrong people, having the wrong people on your team. You don't have to keep doing that just because it takes time to change, right? It takes time to learn a new strategy. It takes time to learn a new methodology. That's okay. 3 things you can do. Number 1, take assessment of where you are. Where are you right now? When you retire, will you have more than enough or you just will retire and just hope for the best? Number 2, you can create a plan to get out of where you are if you're not happy with the current situation. And then number 3, if you can't do it on your own, you can hire somebody. Just make sure that they lay out the roadmap and then show you the destination. All right. And then understand all the things that are on that path to that destination. And I'm going to leave you with this. Thank you for listening to me today, but I want to leave you with this. And this is pretty important. You've been given the power to create an amazing life. An amazing life. One of the things I confess in my affirmation is that I live a great and amazing life. Is it great and amazing yet? Parts of it is. Parts of it, I still got a lot of work to do. The question is this: will you take control and start the journey, or will you just leave things up to chance and see how it all unfolds? Don't want to be in that situation. Think about everything that I've shared with you today. If this message has been a blessing to you and you think that I would be a good fit as the person to lead you, guide you, and feed you the things that you need to get where you are from where you are today to where you really want to be to live a great and amazing life, I want you to call my assistant Beverly, see if I can find a hole in my schedule to talk to you and see if I can just take you to the next level, because I think we can do some pretty amazing things. So thanks again for listening in to my show today. And until next time, everybody, 1, 2, 3, let's get it.
This is thepodcastfactory.com.